Hello everyone, this is 10-Minute Drawing Techniques, episode 9, part 2, Introduction to Backgrounds. It's me again, Mark Chong, so we're gonna just jump in where we left off. So, anyway, I was just saying this is our top-down view. We've got some cliff walls up here, we've got some rocks down there, maybe I can throw some additional rocks. This is just a simple two-dimensional diagram from a top-down view of what's going on. And I guess, you know what, that's probably all we need to start off. Oh, it'd also be nice to say, well, let's see, what would be a nice viewpoint for this to see this from? I guess it would be nice if we had some vegetation on this little island. And you know what, we'll decide that later. But we'll probably stand somewhere along this area and we'll look out towards the lighthouse. The lighthouse being our point of interest, something that's interesting. So we'll look out on that way. So I'm just going to take this little diagram of mine and we'll just going to shrink it down. Pitch it somewhere down over there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and so just continuing from there, I'm sitting down. That means that I'm relatively low on the ground, and I guess, you know, my horizon line looking, well, let's see, it would be looking up pretty high, so I'll have to shift my horizon line down a bit. Alright, now, dead center of my view, if I'm looking straight this way, there's my field of view. How much do I want to see? See all that? What's my angle of view? Well, that's about dead center of the cliff. It's not so interesting to see all this expanse of water, so maybe I'll shift my point of view so that, you know what, let's go with the original plan, because I like the idea that the lighthouse is slightly off center. So that'll be what I'm looking straight at. So slightly off center then is the lighthouse is going to be about there, standing up. I haven't decided how high it's going to be, but let's get the lay of the land. Let's figure out. That's where the water is. So the cliff wall is more or less dividing our point of view. And it's going to rise up high. And it's going to intercept the water out here. Let's see. Let's make that come towards us somewhat. In fact, you can see how slowly I'm taking things, eh? I'm just trying to figure out where the landscape touches the water. And I'm taking my time, making sure everything's just right. So don't rush these things. Don't rush. Otherwise you make mistakes. Even now I know I'm going to make mistakes, so okay. In fact, there's the island there in the middle that I wanted to have in there. So let me just undo this. I've basically wound up I've gotten too close to my cliff. I don't want to be so close, so let's see if I can push that back a bit. There, where's my island? My island is slightly off to the left, so I'm gonna looks like I gotta move my my little map. That's good. Okay, what time have we got left? We've got another 5 minutes. Okay. So anyway, let's draw the island. And that cliff face. Just gonna come. I want to exit the camera around here so I can make those two meet. And I want the cliff to come in about that high, so using point to point, curve to curve. There we are. Get the lay of the land. And now that I have that, well, let's see, there's all that open expanse of water. You can see how that's lining up. You know what? It looks like I have to shift this bottom island a bit. What are the extents of the island? How wide is it going to be? These are all questions I have to ask myself. And it's okay to be bumbling around, at the beginning, using all the big shapes, rather than suddenly wind up painting yourself in a corner. Take your time to make your decisions. And I think there's probably one more thing I want to do, and that is shrink the composition down a bit. I want to have that there, and then I want to have a bit of the ground that we're standing on. No. There. So that kind of makes a nice little bit of a composition. I think my horizon line's bending up too much, because now it's wound up a little closer to the center. Good. And now I can figure out, well, gee, I guess I can put my lighthouse now. That's sort of the important payoff. And I've got the lay of the land, which everything is going to sit on top of. What are we at? 2 minutes. And I know this thing needs a little guardrail. And there's usually, to get to the top, there's a spiral staircase, so I'll draw the windows at spiral intervals on the way down. And there's the little entrance there, a little bit of a gate fence. You can have, maybe they got there by car, who knows. Draw a simple little tiny car. Now let's see, as for this doesn't really look like a cliff, it looks more like a bunch of volumes. That's okay, because I can use that technique of carving out some nice rock formations. And oops, my brush is too big. Got a little over a minute left, so I'm going to wind up splitting this yet again. And mind you, when you're drawing a background, there's a million ways of drawing a background. It's not so much a background as you're drawing a whole diorama, a whole story situation. You're deciding on a time and a place, a certain locale. The fact that I'm suggesting that you're in an area near some water, seconds. I'm going to split it off here and I'll continue on to the next one. My goodness, time blows right by. Alright, see you guys soon.